In this video, we're going to be looking at key concept number 2 and example number 2 in lesson 11.1, part 2, alternate interior angles. We're identifying the alternate interior angles. Okay, so the key concept number 2 is, so hold on. Remember when we did example number 1, we had our two lines and then our transversal, and the alternate interior angles were the ones that lie within the pair of lines here, and they're on opposite sides. It's almost like they make an X, a crisscross, 4 and 6, and then 5 and 3. These lines were not parallel, our original lines here, A and B. So we want to know, well, when a transversal intersects two parallel lines, like here, right? Here's our parallel lines. You could tell that these are parallel because they have the double arrows here. This is saying that G, line G, is parallel to line P. Okay, remember we talked about this is the parallel symbol. It almost looks like railroad tracks. How we talked about how railroad tracks are parallel. So if you have two parallel lines, basically what that's saying, and you have your transversal, in this case it's Z, that when a transversal intersects two parallel lines, alternate interior angles are congruent, meaning they have equal angle measure. Okay, so they have equal angle measure. Remember, the word congruent means they're equal. So let's look at our set of lines here. We have our two parallel lines and our transversal. Let's label Z in this case is the transversal. All right, because it's a line that intersects two other lines at different points and makes there be angles. All right, and remember, we're looking at the alternate interior angles. So the alternate interior angles, remember, lie within the two lines here. So these are all the angles on the inside of our two lines. And the alternate interior, remember, they're alternate, meaning they're on opposite sides of the transversal. So J and K are alternate interior angles, and Q and T. Right? Remember, they make like a crisscross here. So Q and T are alternate interior, and J and K. All right, and basically what the definition is saying, the key concept, is that since these two lines are parallel, what that's saying is that the alternate interior angles are congruent. So what that's saying is that angle J is congruent to angle K. Okay, so basically what that's saying is that if J was 40 degrees, the measure of angle J was 40 degrees, that means that the measure of angle K is also 40 degrees. That's what it means to have equal angle measure. So then we see that angle Q and T are alternate interior angles, which means that angle Q is congruent to angle T. All right, meaning that if angle Q is 110 degrees, then angle T is also 110 degrees. Okay, that's because these two lines are parallel. All right, so now let's look at example number 2. It says, if lines A and B are parallel, what is the measure of angle 1? Explain your reasoning. All right, so let's look at our picture right here. Here's line A and line B. And here's the parallel symbol. Remember, it's like a double arrow. Shows you that these lines are parallel. Okay. And this line here actually looks like this is our transversal. right? If we were to extend this line, this could be a transversal. So go ahead and draw that. All right, and we see that the measure of angle 1, the only information we're given is that this is measure of angle 1 and this is 40 degrees. Well, we just learned, right, in our key concept that when a transversal intersects two parallel lines, the alternate interior angles are congruent. And here's our two parallel lines. Here's our transversal. And so here's the inside of the two lines. And these are alternate interior angles right here, right? Because they're on opposite sides of the transversal on the inside of the lines. So what that's saying is that the measure of angle 1 equals 40 degrees because angle 1 and the angle with measure 40 degrees, right? These two angles are alternate interior angles within a pair of parallel lines. Right? Remember, the only reason that you can say that these have the same, or that they're congruent, that they have equal measure, is because you have the parallel lines there. Okay, make sure that you have all of these notes here, and then you can try the Got It number 1 before watching the video.